Okay, let's talk about car prices right now because we know they're still pretty high, especially with the interest rates as high as they are. And if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, it may be out of reach.
It's finally happening. The 2026 value crash is no longer a rumor. 12 widely owned cars are about to tank harder than anyone expected. And the signs are already piling up. Swollen inventories, collapsing incentives, and technology shifts that are leaving older models hopelessly behind. When the next wave of lease returns hits, these cars will drop thousands in a matter of weeks. But here's the part no one sees coming. Some of the models on this list are best sellers people assume are safe. They're not. And if you own one, this could hit your wallet fast. Let's start with Ford. Rising market shifts are pushing this legendary automaker toward unexpected depreciation as buyer preferences evolve and as the market becomes increasingly shaped by electrified technology. The full Ford portfolio is approaching a period where values may soften far faster than owners expect. The brand's deep presence in rental fleets, its wide use of incentives, and its reliance on high-volume sales all contribute to a pattern where used prices can erode more rapidly than the competition. By the time the year 2026 arrives, analysts expect a noticeable slide across many Ford vehicles simply because the market will be oversupplied and saturated with similar options. Ford's strength has always been its scale, but that same advantage can work against resale stability. When a brand produces vehicles by the hundreds of thousands, supply inevitably outweighs demand in the secondhand market. This becomes even more pronounced when large batches of 3-year lease returns start landing at dealerships around the same time. With Ford's continued promotion of leasing programs and extended finance terms, the volume of returning inventory in 2026 is projected to rise sharply. The result is predictable. Used buyers gain leverage, prices fall, and the brand's overall depreciation curve steepens. Another factor influencing Ford's upcoming value decline is the company's rapid shift toward electric and hybrid platforms. While innovation is positive for the future, it places downward pressure on current gasoline-based offerings because consumers begin waiting for newer technology. This creates an unintended cycle in which earlier models feel outdated faster, accelerating depreciation. As the automotive market braces for this transition, Ford finds itself straddling two eras at once. The shift becomes even clearer as the countdown turns toward another American giant facing its own challenges, Chevrolet. Changing consumer demands are placing surprising pressure on this iconic manufacturer's outlook. Over the past several years, the brand has relied heavily on incentive-driven sales, broad fleet distribution, and large volume manufacturing, all of which create long-term pressure on resale value. When a company floods the market with high quantities of vehicles, the second-hand supply often grows faster than demand. And by the time the year 2026 arrives, that imbalance is expected to intensify further. Chevrolet's product identity is also in a state of transformation, and this contributes directly to depreciation risks, with the manufacturer reallocating resources toward electrified platforms. Many gasoline-based offerings now function as transitional products rather than long-term staples. When buyers sense that major generational shifts are underway, they tend to postpone purchases until newer technology becomes available. This behavioral pattern causes earlier vehicles to feel outdated sooner, resulting in a quicker and more pronounced drop in value once they enter the resale market. Another factor influencing Chevrolet's projected downturn is the brand's deep connection to rental and corporate fleets. Fleet channels may boost short-term sales, but they often return vehicles in massive waves after only a few years of use. These synchronized returns create sudden inventory spikes, giving used car shoppers more negotiating power and forcing prices downward across the board. As Chevrolet navigates rising competition, technological pivots, and shifting consumer expectations, its depreciation curve is positioned to dip more sharply than many owners anticipate. Momentum takes a sharp turn as we move to a brand whose market identity is shifting at unexpected speed. These trends signal a broader shift in how the brand will be perceived, shaping a used vehicle landscape that is increasingly sensitive to oversupply and technological evolution. If this breakdown is helping you understand what is coming in 2026, make sure you like the video and subscribe so you never miss updates. And if you have insights from your own experience, share them to help others stay informed before values fall. Evolving expectations now challenge a brand once praised for rugged dependability worldwide. Jeep's long-standing reputation for off-road capability once guaranteed strong used values, but consumers are becoming increasingly aware of the brand's persistent reliability concerns, rising maintenance expenses, and highly variable ownership experiences. These shifting perceptions have begun to erode the confidence that once protected Jeep from steep depreciation. As buyers grow more cautious, the brand's resale performance is expected to soften more dramatically than many loyal fans anticipate. Another major factor shaping Jeep's looming depreciation drop is the brand's reliance on aggressive financing incentives and widespread dealership promotions. When new vehicles are routinely discounted by thousands, the used market inevitably follows those downward price signals. Furthermore, Jeep's popularity with rental companies creates a secondary challenge. Fleet units return in synchronized waves after only a few years of service. When hundreds or thousands of similar Jeeps re-enter the marketplace at the same time, supply overwhelms demand, pushing used values down at a faster pace. Jeep is also navigating an evolving competitive landscape. As more manufacturers introduce crossovers with refined comfort, improved fuel efficiency, and advanced safety technology, buyers who once gravitated toward Jeep out of habit now have multiple alternatives that feel more modern and less maintenance intensive. This expanded competition places additional downward pressure on resale values as shoppers compare features and long-term durability. With market dynamics shifting, technological expectations rising, and consumer priorities changing, Jeep's depreciation curve is set to steepen noticeably as 2026 approaches. With that warning in mind, the spotlight pivots to a brand adored for adventure yet vulnerable beneath the surface: Subaru. Shifting priorities across buyers are beginning to reshape this brand's long-standing reputation. For decades, Subaru built its reputation on all-wheel drive confidence, outdoors-oriented branding, and a loyal customer base that cherished durability over flash. However, as the industry pushes deeper into electrification and advanced driver assistance technology, many of Subaru's offerings now appear technologically conservative compared to rivals. That perception alone is enough to influence future resale curves, especially as buyers in the year 2026 increasingly gravitate toward vehicles packed with cutting-edge software and longer electric ranges. Another challenge facing Subaru stems from its remarkable popularity. While high demand generally supports strong resale value, Subaru's surge in leasing over the past several years has created a cycle that could lead to market saturation. When large quantities of 3-year-old lease returns arrive simultaneously, the used car market becomes crowded with nearly identical units. This abundance gives shoppers more negotiating power and forces sellers to reduce prices more quickly than expected. Analysts predict that by the time 2026 arrives, the volume of gently used Subarus entering the market will outpace demand, softening resale strength across the brand. Subaru is also navigating increased competition from manufacturers who have invested heavily in hybrid systems, onboard technology, and fuel-efficient engines. While Subaru maintains a loyal following, newer buyers seeking the latest innovations may look elsewhere, causing existing models to depreciate at a faster pace. Additionally, concerns about rising repair costs on aging engines and the brand's historically mixed reliability scores place further downward pressure on long-term value. As market expectations evolve and consumer priorities shift toward technological sophistication, Subaru finds itself adapting to a landscape far different from the one that once guaranteed its resale dominance. As the pattern unfolds, the journey leads toward a name once seen as nearly depreciation-proof: Buick. Increasing competition is redefining future value for a brand. Built on comfort, once positioned as a comfortable middle ground between mainstream affordability and luxury refinement, Buick now faces a landscape where that niche is harder to define. With the automotive industry moving rapidly toward electrification and advanced software integration, many of Buick's current gasoline-powered offerings feel caught between eras. This perception alone can accelerate depreciation as buyers in the year 2026 increasingly prioritize cutting-edge features, extended electric driving ranges, and the newest safety systems. Another challenge impacting Buick's projected value decline is the brand's heavy reliance on incentives and promotional pricing. When new vehicles are frequently discounted by several $1,000s, the used market quickly reflects those reductions. A shopper comparing a discounted new Buick to a lightly used one will almost always gravitate toward the new option, forcing pre-owned prices to drop further to remain remain competitive. Over time, this pattern weakens resale confidence and contributes to steeper depreciation curves across the brand. Buick is also contending with broader uncertainty regarding its long-term direction. The company has publicly emphasized a transition toward an electric future, unveiling concept designs and planning a portfolio shift. While this signals progress, it simultaneously makes current gasoline-focused products feel temporary. Buyers become hesitant to invest in vehicles that may be perceived as nearing the end of their technological relevance, especially when fully reimagined electric successors loom on the horizon. As competition intensifies and consumer expectations evolve, Buick finds itself needing to redefine what sets it apart in an increasingly crowded marketplace. Depreciation is often a reflection of buyer confidence, and that confidence becomes harder to maintain amid rapid industry transformation. The energy of this list builds further as attention moves toward a legacy brand redefining its place in the market: Cadillac. A bold transition era now places this luxury name under intense scrutiny. Known for decades as the symbol of American luxury, Cadillac spent much of its recent past attempting to modernize its image through sharper design, improved performance engineering, and more competitive technology. However, as the global automotive landscape pivots aggressively toward electrification and software-driven innovation, Cadillac's current gasoline-centered lineup finds itself positioned at an awkward midpoint between tradition and the future. When buyers sense that a brand is undergoing a transitional phase, they often hesitate to invest in models that may feel technologically outdated within a short span, which accelerates depreciation. Another major force shaping Cadillac's predicted value drop is its extensive reliance on leasing programs and incentive-heavy sales strategies. High leasing volumes create a wave of identical three-year-old returns entering the used market at the same time, which diminishes scarcity and pushes resale prices down. Additionally, when dealerships consistently promote significant discounts on brand new Cadillac vehicles, the perceived value of lightly used ones diminishes even faster. A consumer comparing a discounted new luxury vehicle with a pre-owned one of similar price will frequently choose the newer option, forcing used listings to drop further simply to remain competitive. Cadillac is also contending with intensified pressure from both established luxury brands and new electric competitors. European manufacturers are doubling down on advanced driver assistance systems, ultra-efficient engines, and refined interiors, while emerging electric-only companies are capturing attention with extended ranges and cutting-edge digital features. As these options expand, Cadillac faces a challenge in convincing future buyers that its older gasoline-powered inventory retains long-term value. With competition rising, market expectations shifting, and an ambitious electric transformation underway, Cadillac's depreciation curve is set to deepen as 2026 approaches. A deeper dive into the luxury world reveals another contender wrestling with dramatic change: Dodge. Performance heritage meets modern demands, creating new challenges for this classic brand. For decades, Dodge built its identity on bold styling, thunderous engines, and an emotional connection to raw power. That identity attracted a fiercely loyal community, yet it also positioned the brand in a segment now facing enormous pressure as electrification, efficiency standards, and advanced software-driven platforms reshape buyer priorities. With the industry accelerating toward hybrid and fully electric technology, many of Dodge's gasoline-centered offerings are increasingly viewed as part of a closing chapter rather than the beginning of a new one. This perception alone contributes to faster depreciation, especially as consumers anticipate upcoming electrified replacements. Another major contributor to Dodge's expected value decline is the brand's heavy reliance on promotional pricing, long financing terms, and highly accessible performance models. While these strategies generate strong short-term sales, they also saturate the market with large quantities of similarly configured vehicles. Once these units return after 3 or 4 years, the used market becomes flooded with choices that look and feel nearly identical. When buyers have an abundance of options, they gain substantial leverage, forcing resale prices downward as sellers compete for attention. Dodge must also contend with rising competition from automakers who are blending performance with modern efficiency. Many rival brands now offer vehicles with strong horsepower ratings paired with advanced safety systems, superior interior technology, and hybrid components that appeal to a broader demographic. This shift creates a challenge for Dodge, whose older platforms may feel less adaptable to long-term ownership, especially as maintenance costs rise and fuel-conscious buyers look elsewhere. The result is a depreciation curve that is expected to steepen notably by the year 2026. With performance heritage freshly examined, the countdown steers toward a truck-focused division shaped by shifting priorities. General Motors Truck Company. Rapid technological shifts are reshaping value expectations for this well-known truck division. Known for its rugged image, bold styling, and strong presence in the truck and sport utility market, the brand has long benefited from loyal buyers who appreciate capability and comfort. However, as the automotive industry continues to accelerate toward electrified architecture, advanced driver assistance systems, and software-centered platforms, many of the current gasoline-powered offerings from General Motors Truck Company are beginning to show signs of aging in the eyes of future shoppers. By the year 2026, this technological gap is expected to play a significant role in pushing depreciation rates higher than owners may expect. Another major factor contributing to the brand's expected decline in resale value is its heavy reliance on leasing programs, fleet distribution, and incentives. When a manufacturer consistently offers discounted pricing, extended financing terms, or aggressive promotional deals, the perceived value of its vehicles becomes anchored to those lowered price points. As a result, when the 3-year and 4-year lease cycles conclude, the market becomes saturated with similar vehicles returning all at once. This oversupply diminishes scarcity and places downward pressure on used prices, especially when buyers can find a lightly used model for far less than its original cost. General Motors Truck Company is also experiencing heightened competition from manufacturers that have invested heavily in hybrid systems, improved efficiency, and next-generation cabin technology. While the brand still delivers strong towing capability and size advantages, consumer priorities are shifting toward advanced connectivity, quieter drivetrains, and reduced long-term operating costs. As more shoppers evaluate these priorities, older platforms risk feeling outdated faster, accelerating depreciation. Luxury returns to the stage as the list advances toward a mark-balancing tradition and transformation. Before we move deeper into the list, take a moment to subscribe. You will get every major market alert, every new analysis, and every resale warning the moment it releases, helping you stay ahead of sudden price drops and avoid costly mistakes. Lincoln. Luxury refinements alone can no longer guarantee strong resale for this brand. For decades, Lincoln symbolized quiet luxury and relaxed motoring, but the rapid transition toward electrified platforms and software-driven features has placed pressure on its gasoline-focused lineup. As the industry directs more investment toward hybrid systems and fully electric vehicles, buyers begin to view current offerings as interim products rather than long-term solutions. This perception plays a major role in shaping future resale values and is expected to intensify by the year 2026. Another element contributing to Lincoln's projected depreciation involves its ongoing dependence on incentives, lease programs, and high-margin promotional strategies. Frequent discounts weaken perceived value, and when new vehicles are consistently offered below their suggested pricing, the used market responds with equally sharp reductions. This becomes especially significant when large batches of 3-year and 4-year lease returns arrive together, creating a surge of nearly identical inventory competing for the same buyers. Lincoln also faces strong competition from both luxury manufacturers and emerging electric-focused brands that emphasize advanced connectivity, streamlined cabins, and highly efficient drivetrains. As consumer expectations continue evolving, vehicles built on older architectures struggle to maintain long-term desirability, especially when maintenance costs begin to rise with age. This dynamic will influence Lincoln's position in the resale market, creating downward pressure as the brand works to redefine itself within a transforming industry. With these forces shaping its upcoming value curve, Lincoln moves forward in a marketplace where innovation determines survival, and the next brand in this countdown reveals that even prestige and heritage cannot shield an automaker from the accelerating realities of depreciation. As the market shifts toward technology and smarter engineering, Lincoln's challenge becomes proving that its future vision can maintain relevance in a changing automotive landscape. Infiniti. A changing luxury marketplace is tightening pressure around this brand's future appeal. Once admired for its balance of performance, comfort, and visual appeal, Infiniti now contends with a marketplace that demands rapid innovation, sophisticated software integration, and efficiency standards far beyond what luxury buyers expected a decade ago. As the automotive world approaches the year 2026, Infiniti's current portfolio faces the challenge of appearing dated in comparison to competitors who have aggressively modernize their lineups. One of the primary forces accelerating Infiniti's depreciation curve is the brand's slower pace of product updates. Many of Infiniti's vehicles remain built on older platforms that lack the advanced driver assistance systems, hybrid architecture, and intuitive digital ecosystems that buyers increasingly prioritize. When shoppers perceive that a brand's technological roadmap is moving at a slower pace, the result is reduced confidence in long-term value, which directly impacts resale performance. A vehicle that feels behind its time depreciates faster, regardless of how well it drives or how comfortable its interior may be. Another contributor to Infiniti's anticipated decline in value is its reduced visibility within the broader luxury market. With German brands dominating innovation and new electric companies capturing attention with long-range engineering, Infiniti occupies an increasingly narrow space. This visibility challenge is further complicated by a shrinking dealership network, which can raise concerns about long-term maintenance accessibility. When buyers worry about future support, their willingness to pay higher resale prices diminishes. As competition intensifies and technology reshapes the definition of luxury, Infiniti's depreciation outlook becomes increasingly vulnerable. Electric ambition takes the spotlight next, revealing a brand navigating identity challenges in a crowded segment. Polestar Electric Evolution continues testing the long-term confidence surrounding this ambitious newcomer's identity. Established as an electric-focused performance brand backed by Volvo and its parent company, Zhejiang Geely Holding Group Company, Polestar launched with strong aesthetics, minimalistic Scandinavian influences, and ambitious engineering goals. Yet, as the electric vehicle market expands and competition intensifies, the brand is beginning to face pressures that will significantly impact its resale performance by the year 2026. One of the largest forces pushing Polestar toward accelerated depreciation is the confusion surrounding its brand identity. Many consumers remain uncertain whether Polestar is a premium extension of Volvo, an independent electric startup, or a Chinese-backed technology company. This lack of clarity affects buyer confidence, particularly in the used market where long-term reliability and parts availability weigh heavily on purchasing decisions. When shoppers cannot easily categorize a brand, they often hesitate to invest, leading sellers to reduce prices more aggressively. Polestar also faces the looming challenge of an increasingly crowded electric marketplace, with established manufacturers producing longer-range models, faster charging architectures, and more advanced user interfaces. Polestar's earlier platforms risk appearing outpaced because electric vehicles rely heavily on software, battery management systems, and charging networks. Even small technological gaps can significantly influence resale value. As other automakers introduce next-generation batteries and more efficient architectures, older electric models, including those from Polestar, may experience faster depreciation simply due to competitive advancements. Another contributing factor is the brand's limited service infrastructure. While Polestar has expanded its footprint, its network remains far smaller than traditional dealerships. Consumers worry about future maintenance accessibility and the availability of certified technicians. Such concerns can dramatically reduce willingness to pay premium prices for pre-owned electric vehicles. At the peak of this countdown awaits a manufacturer undergoing one of the most dramatic directional shifts in the industry: Nissan. Major lineup shifts are accelerating concerns about future resale across this brand. For decades, Nissan held a strong position in the mainstream automotive world, offering dependable transportation at attainable prices. However, as the industry continues its rapid pivot toward electrification, advanced driver assistance systems, and high-efficiency platforms, several of Nissan's long-standing gasoline-focused offerings have begun to feel misaligned with the direction buyers are heading. This growing disconnect is expected to play a major role in accelerating depreciation across the brand by the year 2026. One of the core reasons behind Nissan's projected value decline is the company's ongoing process of discontinuing multiple familiar vehicle lines. When a manufacturer retires several established products within a short period, shoppers begin questioning long-term support, future parts availability, and the stability of the brand's strategy. These concerns directly influence resale values because used buyers place heavy weight on durability and long-term ownership confidence. A sense of uncertainty often translates into lower demand, and lower demand inevitably leads to sharper depreciation curves. Nissan is also navigating challenges related to incentive-driven sales and prolonged financing terms. When new vehicles are routinely offered with heavy discounts or extended payment plans, the perceived value of those vehicles becomes anchored to the reduced price rather than the original manufacturer's suggested retail amount. As these discounted units enter the used market, sellers must lower their asking prices significantly to compete, pushing depreciation even further. This effect intensifies when combined with large volumes of 3-year and 4-year lease returns arriving simultaneously. Growing competitive pressure is reshaping the landscape across nearly every segment Nissan participates in, forcing the brand to confront rivals that are advancing faster than ever. New hybrid systems offering superior efficiency, electric vehicles delivering longer ranges, and cabins built around sophisticated software ecosystems are raising expectations throughout the marketplace. As these innovations spread, earlier Nissan platforms begin to feel noticeably outdated, reducing their appeal among shoppers seeking modern capability. This widening gap accelerates depreciation because buyers increasingly prioritize technology, long-term efficiency, and seamless digital integration, placing older Nissan offerings at a significant disadvantage when compared with rapidly evolving alternatives. With evolving technology shaping the future of mobility, Nissan's position in the depreciation landscape reflects the challenges of an automaker redefining itself in a rapidly changing era. That's the full list of cars heading for a 2026 value crash. If this helped you, hit like, drop a comment with which model surprised you, and subscribe so you never miss a market alert. Thanks for watching. Stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.